We're here with Michael, print editor for the politics section of Raw. Michael, yesterday...
Can you say my surname?
What is your surname?
De Benedetto.
De Benedetto.
De Benedetto, yeah.
De Benedetto. We're here with Michael Benedetto.
De Benedetto.
De Benedetto. Michael De Benedetto.
So we're doing an entire
I think I love
Tabloid.
Yeah.
And I'm giving a brief introduction.
It's certainly not so funny, is it?
It's going to be on an average, yeah.
I'm the only person.
I didn't mean it. Get on. Go away, sir.
So what is your role in Raw newspaper?
I am the design editor of the newspaper. So I don't actually have any professional experience. I just have don't have any professional training. I just have experience.
What would you say is the hardest part of your job?
Working with Ben? No.
Ben, what exactly do you do as part of Raw?
I oversee the day-to-day workings of the newspaper. I manage everyone. We've got a team of over 30 people now, so it's quite a busy job.
And what changes have you seen since it began?
Well, since I started at Raw, we doubled in size. We've expanded on our online platforms. We've got an online editor for every section.
I'm actually deputy editor of online, so I basically ensure that content goes up on the website daily, which is a lot of work, very busy, but it means we have loads of stuff all the time. Every single day there'll be at least one, if not two articles going up that are new in a couple of sections.
And does that work? Do people kind of come to you and volunteer their ideas or write articles? Or what would happen one day if no one would have any ideas?
Bad things. Basically, part of my job is to make sure that that doesn't happen. So if we get a lot of articles on one day, I have to stagger it so that we'll only upload one or two and then we'll keep some for the next day.
Yeah, any King's student can get involved with Raw newspaper. Yeah, as long as they're not rubbish.
I'd say the hardest part is generally just trying to track down good stories that are worth going into the paper. I mean, it's not difficult, there's a lot going on at King's, but at the same time you want to make sure that everything that's written is of the best possible quality.
People hate journalists, and there's a reason why people hate journalists. It's because they're often out to get people and they're often out to work on their own agendas. So morality is a line which we all must tread.
I think that in terms of what I would be willing to put into the newspaper itself, I think, yes, I would put in a piece by a fascist, as long as he was expressing himself in some moderate in the sense of not politically moderate, but not aggressive. I wouldn't publish an aggressive piece, and I wouldn't publish a piece that I thought was intended to create malice.
That's when people have been invited to write opinion pieces, but this has usually been within the context of a debate. So there will be someone with a view, but then someone with an opposing view. So I don't think there's very little opportunity, even if I wanted to, for me to affect the ideological swing of my section, because we insist on having one person that agrees, one that disagrees, and otherwise it's usually a news piece or a comment piece that's still relatively informative rather than normative.
But I think when it comes to arts and theatre, it's quite a classical domain, really. People don't want it meddled around with too much.
Would you say you dumb it down, or do you...
I wouldn't say you dumb it down, that's really hard to say. You put it in a way that's attractive to everyone, so that everyone can get engaged with it and understand it.
Raw is 100% committed to giving KTL students the opportunities they deserve. The opportunity to write, the opportunity to edit, and above all else, the opportunity to read about issues they care about.
In the newspaper it said, if you care about it, we'll print it, if you think it's relevant, we'll upload it. Raw belongs to you. What do you think about that?
I think that's how it should be. I think that's great. I think the fact that Raw is sending out that message is good, because I think some problems we could have had in the past is people feel intimidated to write for Raw because they think that their subject isn't
you know, appropriate enough or current enough, or their writing skills aren't great. But I think that just kind of, I think, will hopefully appeal to like a lot more people.
Put in the intro and the conclusion in just the first
Do me a favour, go to the Raw website.
Hold the phone.
We could conceivably just have it on that side, or I don't know.
Okay.
The pitch school on the side. We'll work it out.
Raw news?
Oh, yes, at rawnews.co.uk.
Yeah, I just said it.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I think probably not everyone knows about Raw, because I think in terms of the print newspaper, it's quite hard to get circulation out, because we have kind of like, technically I think they're called bins for it, that are in reception, but they're quite small and understated, and they're not really like in the way, and it's not advertised as much. On Facebook, I think we're a lot better, Facebook and Twitter. We have a really strong social media presence. We have, I think, over 1,000 likes on Facebook now.
I think this year a lot of effort's gone into just raising general awareness. A lot of people weren't aware that we had a student newspaper, let alone what it was called or what it was like.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. The students of Kings would never thought something as simplistic as that.
This is the Students' Public Service Information Broadcast System.
Can we do that? Are you up for that?
We regret to announce that the President of KCLSU has been assassinated.
His ministers have fled. And the student council has been dissolved.
They've got Robbie. No, I was going to be dramatic with the camera.
Well
done. I think it's just like our team, like we're really dedicated. I mean, our editor, Ben Jackson, is just so like meticulous with everything. He's just, I don't know, he's just amazing. So I think we've got a really good team of people that are actually like committed. They, you know, they take it seriously. It's not just, and it's all voluntary. So like we don't get paid, but people still take it really seriously, and I find that really, really cool.
Why have you decided to resign?
I've decided to resign because I've been here on a newspaper for 2 years now, and I feel like I've done everything I can for Raw to take it to where it is now, but also Raw's done everything it can do for me. I've got a lot out of this, like so many wonderful memories and friends. I've also been able to go and get work experience at The Guardian and New Scientist. Those things wouldn't have been possible without my work on Raw newspaper. To my successor, I'd say you're about to have a lot of fun, you're about to have a nightmare, but you're about to have the most rewarding experience of your King's career, really.